Hello my friends, Ultimus here with another video for you. Before we get into the footage and the topic of discussion today, I want to right up front apologize if the audio seems a bit weird or different or is off. I got a new headset and new microphone today, so I'm still fiddling around with the sound settings, getting used to the noise cancellation that is far superior on these things than on my original headset. So adjusting to how loud I should speak, how loud I shouldn't speak to get proper audio levels recorded in is going to take some time. So thanks for your understanding and hope you guys enjoyed the video. I figured with the amount of comments and attention that some of the Enhancement Shaman 2v2 and discussion videos have been getting recently, figured now would be a good time to do my video very similar to what I did with the Warrior, kind of an overview at all three specs more or less. In this case it's going to be mostly Enhancement and Elemental because I really don't care for Restoration. I have no experience with this, so therefore I don't feel like my opinion is valid on it whatsoever. But I want to do an overview and potentially a final thoughts on specifically the Enhancement Shaman, but I will talk about Elemental as well. Enhancement Shamans have gone through quite a bit of change throughout the Warlords of Draenor Beta. They started off in Alpha with a heavy dependence on Lightning Bolt for their big damage. In fact, most of your procs for Maelstrom were so you could get off a Thunderbolt, and in fact, not casting Thunderbolt consistently hurt your damage so much that you wouldn't even wait for full Maelstrom stacks. Now they shifted away from that and definitely moved back to kind of the fast-paced melee. You're going swinging like crazy with your weapons. That's the best way I can explain it. Enhancement Shamans do play quite nicely now. And this is an update from the previous video that we did where they were a bit clunky, a bit weird. I wasn't sure how I felt about them. Since then, there's been a nice damage buff as well. So the damage that Enhancement Shamans are putting out is significantly higher than it used to be, which helps keep them competitive. Not quite nearly as good as Elemental's burst, but we'll get into that in a little bit. The rotation is good. It does feel a little more fluid than it did. Enhancement Shamans definitely have lots of things to do, very much like they do in Mist of Pandaria, except not quite as bad, to where you feel like you have too many things to do and you really don't know what to press. So they kind of got that compressed down quite nicely. However, I feel like the biggest strength of Enhancement is also the biggest weakness, and that is Maelstrom. Now, Maelstrom itself is a great mechanic. It's fun, except it procs too often. And so because it procs so often, it's boring. It's not exciting necessarily, because you're getting it to proc so much that it's like getting that instant cast is not as exciting as it could be. So I feel like the thing that makes the class as fun and as dynamic as it is also what could potentially make it a little more boring. I could be the only one that views it like that, and that's totally fine. And again, this is all just based off my experience with it. Shamans definitely feel a little bit squishy. However, Healing Stream Totem in a PvP setting is definitely enough to keep the heals going for you and your teammate, though most arena teams that you come up against are smart enough to kill it. The talents that I've been having the most success with have been Nature's Guardian, Windwalk Totem, Totemic Projection, Echo of Elements, Ancestral Guidance, and either Unleashed Fury or Elemental Blast. And then either Elemental Fusion, Storm Elemental Totem, or Liquid Magma are all three quite useful, and I don't see how any of them are so bad that they can't be used, though in a PvP setting, Elemental Fusion and Storm Elemental Totem are definitely preferred, and where I could see Liquid Magma being great in RPGs or random battlegrounds. So all in all, the Enhancement Shaman is looking a lot better than it has. It's still pretty fun to play, very proc. You feel very much like a loose cannon. You're very much a glass cannon still, unless you get your heals right and get some good peels and know how to hug corners and use line of sight to your advantage. You're definitely a bit squishy, not quite as squishy as Elemental. So at first I had given up hope of playing and enjoying my Enhancement Shaman through Warlords of Draenor, but I could definitely see it being a potential alt that I roll with. That leads me into talking about Elemental. Elemental is very much a glass cannon, and what I mean by that is unless you keep your heals up on you, you're going to get chewed through by rogues. Rogues are like your worst nightmare now. Granted, my experience with an Elemental Shaman on live and beta here isn't exactly the best. I've dabbled in it a little bit, and I did want to get some games under my belt for the beta so that I could at least have something to say about it. I didn't want to make just Enhancement. I wanted to talk a little bit about Elemental. Does a lot of damage. They are fabulous stationary turrets. Again, it's kind of the feel that Blizzard is wanting to go with casters this expansion. And if you let an Elemental Shaman stand there and cast on you, you're going to feel it. And before you realize it, you're going to be dead. Just the way it is. That's all I can really say about Elemental. Just from my experience, I'm terrible with casters, so I really wasn't able to get any quality footage worth showing you guys. So I guess I'll just have to ask you to trust me, take my word on it. You'll probably be better off just hearing it this way than having to bear through the footage that I would have put up for you guys watching me just get 3-shot, 2-shot. Oh, it was bad. It was bad. So from my standpoint, from what I've seen and what I've experienced, I think Shamans are in a good place, and I think they're going to be a strong contender for Lords of Draenor. Let me know what you thought. Let me know if you agree, disagree, your thoughts on it. Again, I'm no expert Shaman player. It's only been as an alt that I've enjoyed through Mist of Pandaria, and I definitely was looking forward to them on Warlords of Draenor, and I've kind of been keeping an eye on them as we've gone through all their ups and downs. But yeah, let me know what you thought, what you think. That's going to do it for me. As always, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you guys next time.